Whew. I'm the only one who's a little bit exhausted from that wild shootout at the OK Corral last night, aka the LA Coliseum. That game already had its misadventures long before it started. I mean, it was supposed to be in Mexico City, but the field conditions were just horrendous. So it ended up being moved to the LA Coliseum. It was the first time. It was the first time that the Rams hosted a Monday Night Football game in the LA Coliseum. The LA Rams, the LA Rams hosted in the Coliseum since 1979, which was the season that the Rams went to the Super Bowl for the first time in franchise history. And what a game it was! Scoring left and right, defense not existed. So was Todd Gurley. I needed. I'm on fantasy. I'm in fantasy football. I needed Gurley to do his thing and get me a win, but he didn't. And now because and he didn't. And now because of that, I'm in a first place tie. Um, but that's neither here nor there. But anyway, it was um, it was a great game for the ages. 54-51, the Rams won. 105 total points, the highest scoring Monday Night Football game in history. And of course, the Chiefs lost solely because of the incompetency of Patrick Mahomes. He should have kept Alex Smith, Kansas City. Um, though speaking of Alex Smith, though, oh my God, you know I've never said this publicly, but I'm a firm believer in omens. I am a firm believer in omens, and this this omen was one I didn't see coming. No one could see that coming. I couldn't believe this. It's not. It can't be a coincidence. On the 33rd anniversary to the day that Joe Theismann suffered his injury, um, Alex Smith gets his leg, his ankle, uh, badly injured, broken during a sack. Because it was November 18th, 1985. I was only 8 months old exactly when that happened. And wow, Joe, yeah, the anniversary of Theismann's injury, this happens. That sadly is Washington's season right there because Alex Smith was literally the only thing keeping them in first place. Now that Alex Smith is out, and now that Alex Smith is out, and now that um the Eagles are going south, they're getting worse. They got killed on Sunday. This division is all Dallas's to win. Dallas it's Dallas's to win or lose. And back to the Eagles. The Eagles made history on the wrong end of history. They lost 48-7. That is the largest loss, largest margin of defeat by a defending Super Bowl champion in this modern era. It was awful. It was absolutely awful. And yeah, but the week started with the Packers in Seattle, and thanks to that overstuffed, incompetent turkey we know as our head coach, we lost that game. And seeing how Thanksgiving is coming, that's one turkey I would like to get stuffed, plenty. But anyway, so but because of the weird circumstances that happened in the NFC, both Carolina and Minnesota lost. The NFC still remains, again, stuffed. How fitting for Thanksgiving. Uh, Carolina has the first wild card. Minnesota has the second. They're 5-4-1. You have Seattle and Dallas at 5-5 because Dallas won with a last second field goal against Atlanta. Um, we're 4-5-1. You have some 4-6 teams that are alive. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Remember the last time the Packers entered Thanksgiving weekend with only 4 wins was 2 years ago. We all know what happened there. We knew we made it to the Super Bowl. We ran the table. So who's to say that with the GOAT Aaron Rodgers we can't do it again? Especially since we have such a cushy schedule. Um, and a lot of important games. A lot of important games Thanksgiving weekend. For one, on Turkey Day. Well, on Turkey Day, Washington and Dallas, they play each other. Washington and Dallas play each other on Turkey Day. This is a very important game. And it's really become, the importance has increased for the Cowboys because Washington's going to be without Smith for the rest of the year, and the game's in Dallas. Now, they're already one down against Washington as far as head-to-head goes. But this game is in Dallas, and if Dallas wins, they could possibly they'll find themselves in a first place tie. Maybe some tiebreakers will put them up there. Like I said, this is Dallas's division. It's theirs to win or it's theirs to lose. Question is, will they take advantage of it? Thursday, this Thanksgiving, will be the beginning. And the Bears and Lions play before that. It's Bears, Lions, Washington, Dallas, and the night game is Atlanta and New Orleans. New Orleans is still on a roll. They won 9 in a row since that opening week loss to Tampa. And they're closing in on an official playoff spot. So are the Rams, who are 10-1. But the Rams are off this week, as are the Chiefs. They're the last two teams left with byes. After that, everybody plays. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. And how about Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh had that comeback win. They go down 16-0, and they came back to win 20-16 thanks to Big Ben getting in there with seconds left. So Pittsburgh has won 6 straight, and they stay ahead of New England, who was off this past week, and they pick up some ground in Kansas City because the Rams beat them. And so now they have oblong records. Kansas City is 9-2, Pittsburgh is 7-2-1. So the week 2 matchup will come into play unless Kansas City gets a tie and they end up with even records. But if that happens, remember, Kansas City would have the head-to-head. But again, Pittsburgh has a tie in their standings, so that's not going to come into play. Even so, Pittsburgh's going to have to pass them, and Kansas City's going to have to stay ahead of them. But yeah, it's a pretty much close race for that top spot in the AFC. It's a 5-team race, really. It's Kansas City, Pittsburgh, New England, Houston, who won their 7th straight game, and the Chargers. Now the Chargers lost to Denver, but they're 7-3, and they still kind of have an outside shot. And the Chargers could capitalize on the fact that the Chiefs are off this week. But and then the Rams, like I said, the NFC, the Rams are off. So if the Saints win, on Thursday, they will move past LA because remember, the Rams' only loss this year was against the Saints. So this is going to be a very interesting week. And as for the Packers, we have an important game too. We're going against Minnesota again, and this is very important because the first meeting ended in a tie, which means this game is for the head-to-head series. If we win, we'll clinch a head-to-head series. We'll move past Minnesota in the division stands. We'll be second right behind the Bears. We'll still have an outside shot at winning the North because we have a game in Chicago left against the Bears, and we already beat them once. So it's going to be crazy. Thanksgiving, we will see. This is it. This is the thing about Thanksgiving. I've said it before. The playoff talk really starts on Thanksgiving, and the Thanksgiving weekend is that weekend where the pretenders are pretty much done, and we see who's truly alive, who truly has a good shot heading into the month of December. So that's my review of week number 11. Week 12 starts on Turkey Day. It is going to be fun. It is going to be absolutely fun. That's why I love Thanksgiving. Family, fun, and football. 3 Fs. So with that, I wish all you fellow football fans a happy and prosperous Thanksgiving. And I will recap everything that happened in week 12 next week. So until then.